Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you so much for coming on the show today. You and I both grew up as kids of Indian immigrants who loved to debate, super confident, perhaps overconfident in our views. But here's the difference. I kind of know my limits. You, on the other hand, having never held or even run for any elected office before, be it Congress or even school board, having not voted in 3 presidential elections in a row, suddenly now want to be president, go straight for the top job on planet Earth. Your critics would say that's the epitome of tech bro arrogance. What is your response to them? I get that you're an outsider. Personally, I like outsiders. Yeah. But what have you done that even qualifies you to be president of the United States?
I think a lot of people are questioning the same thing, and he's made this clear so many times. But one of the classic traits of winners are they're straight shooters, right? They don't need to have the experience, as he says. Vivek says that professional politicians trying to do this for ages, decades, and they get it all wrong. That's not what winners do. Winners come out of nowhere. They get the opportunity. It just takes one opportunity for them. They pick it up and they just directly go for the top. They achieve something that no other person with experience achieves. Yes, experience has some value, but I think when it comes to the top spot, I think intelligence, brilliance takes precedence. Your experience goes down the drain sometimes. It's just pure brilliance that really covers for most of the stuff. And that is some of what we are seeing with Vivek over here.
I'm not afraid of taking risks. That's part of the American spirit.
Well, technically, the successes were a year and a half after you sold the company, but we'll get bogged down. Let's talk politics.
Mehdi, that's dead wrong, and I would sorry to say you're embarrassing yourself in front of anybody who knows anything about biotech for knowing that phase 3 trials are the final stage. Okay. The final stage, the FDA phase 3 studies succeeded. So you're barking up the wrong tree, but we can continue to move on.
Let's talk politics. We do. We want to talk lots in a party that hates the Soros name, yet you accepted a Paul and Daisy Soros scholarship at law school that was specifically set up for the children of immigrants. It was an affirmative action scholarship, and your defense for that is that you didn't have the money to pay for law school, even though you'd already made over $1 million at the time and made another $2 million.
My defense of that is somebody gives you a merit scholarship at the age of 24, you take it. At the age of 24, somebody gives you a merit scholarship, you take it. I didn't say I didn't have the money. I said at a time when I had a lot less money than now, $50,000
you said was exactly,
still useful to money to me.
You keep forgetting your quote. You said, when I didn't have the money.
So, Mehdi, I've made this really easy for everybody. And I did this in the early weeks of the campaign.
Yeah.
I released 20 years of tax returns.
Yes, you
Something
did.
that no presidential candidate, let alone somebody who's successful in business, has done. I challenge Democrats and Republicans alike, including the Biden family, to do it.
So this is like a classic, that reminds me of classic Asian TV debate where people talk over each other. The host typically shuts the person he's interviewing down, doesn't give an opportunity, constantly interrupts. Sometimes doesn't talk sense. This Mehdi Hasan is not really letting him talk, constantly interrupting him, accusing him of various things. The matter over here is pretty simple. This guy was young, Vivek was young. At the age of 24, if he gets a scholarship, who on planet Earth is not going to accept a scholarship that they deserve just because they have $50,000 extra in their bank account? That doesn't mean that they're going to say no to a scholarship and then go spend their own money and get educated. It hardly makes any sense. And this is such a small matter. That's what Vivek over here is trying to clarify. It's a small matter, the bigger things to fix. What he did was clearly right. But nonetheless, it just doesn't make any sense to discuss something totally irrelevant. What he has done at the age of 24, how does that have anything to do with the larger cause, which is fixing the country, sorting out the issues that it's confronted with today?
And you know what? I released it so that you could look at them, so we can have an honest conversation.
And I appreciate that.
The funny thing I've learned,
I do appreciate that. It's something Trump should learn from you.
I think that transparency is important.
Look,
it's already open and everybody can see it.
Exactly. We have 2009.
But the fact of the matter is, you know what I would advise every 24-year-old should take
2009 and 2010, you made $750,000. You had the money to pay for law school. You didn't need a Soros affirmative action scholarship that you now criticize.
I mean, none of this is worthy, but if you think it is, let's get to the detail. That was actually the first big piece of money.
You say you're anti-affirmative action. You took a scholarship for immigrants.
I'm anti-affirmative action.
So why did you take a scholarship for the children of immigrants?
Which falsehood would you like me to address? The financial one or the one about my views on affirmative action? Because I can go in whichever order you'd like.
Did you not make $750,000?
On the financial piece of it. Not at the time that I had applied for the scholarship that fall.
Yes, you did.
That December.
Yes, you did, Vivek. This is awkward for you because you did. I've got the tax returns in front of my face.
No, it's not awkward for you. Yes, on December 31st, when the application for the scholarship was that October. Mehdi, you're wasting your time on childish details in October of that year when I applied for that scholarship. And it was, well, guess what? The bonuses that a hedge fund pays, and it's a shame that, again, you don't have to be an expert on this, but if you're going to spout out, you better know something about it. People pay at a hedge fund the bonuses at the end of a year. And on December 31st, that's when I was paid. I applied for the scholarship that September, and I did not grow up in a wealthy family.
Vivek, you made more money the previous year.
I made $200,000 pre-tax or whatever it was.
No, you didn't.
And you know what?
Hold on. No, you didn't. You're now telling flat. In 2009,
you have my tax returns in front of you. I don't remember what I made in 2009.
In 2009, you made $650,000. In 2010, you made less, $450,000. So the argument that you only made the money pre the scholarship, Oh, so now we're bringing tax into it. We've been using gross numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vivek, you're wrong on this. Go back and check your tax returns.
$50,000 obviously makes a big difference.
And then you accepted a Soros scholarship for $50,000 when you didn't need it.
Well, you know what the fact is, Mehdi, is $50,000 did make a big difference to me back then. And anybody who has a few $100,000 in the bank is going to take $50,000 without strings attached. Take the scholarship. But my question for you is, why on earth are you, as an intelligent person interested in politics, obsessing over a 24-year-old's $50,000 scholarship?
I'm interested in truth,
beneath
Vivek.
you.
We have a country to fix. That you wear. I'm interested in truth.
And Mehdi, that's why I released 20 years. Mehdi, that is why I released 20 years of tax records. Tell your friends in the Biden administration to do the same thing. Tell your Democrat candidates to do the same thing.
We've gone over time.
We're breaking precedents, and I think it is pathetic. I just think it is sad and pathetic that that we have important issues to talk about for the future of a country, and you're talking about a $50,000 scholarship in 2010 to go to Yale Law School when I was 24.
If you just owned
this is pathetic, and this is why nobody trusts you guys.
More than an interview, this sounds like an interrogation, right? Sort of almost trying to shut him down, but it's not easy. Some of the bigwigs could not shut Vivek down. This guy, Mehdi Hasan, is really a no one in front of Vivek to challenge him or to put him down or, kind of to pull up any kind of details. He is way too smart. Vivek is way too smart, intelligent, brilliant, and more importantly, successful to answer any such people. And that's what exactly he is doing. And the more you question him, the more he answers. What that's doing is, apart from making other people look dumb, it's really making him shine big time. And that's how it's almost impossible for anyone and everyone to not agree with him and not get impressed by him and think more and more that he is the right person for the job, because he's just talking so much sense. He's connecting with people because he's talking the right stuff. He's intelligent, so he's making people think like they have never thought before. He's coming up with constructive solutions which are unique, which are authentic, which are for the first time. It's very refreshing. I think the key term everyone is throwing out is it's refreshing. It's really making people think. It's pumping in new creativity in people. Not only listening to him, people are getting more ideas, but people have started believing that, yes, looking at him, hearing to some of what he is saying, there's positivity, there's optimism, there's hope for the future of the country.
It is pathetic in your view, but you paid a Wikipedia editor who then removed it, so clearly it's something you didn't want people to read about. Last question, because we've gone over time and I respect you.
Who also said I was born in India. Who also said I was born in India and misspelled and got my wife's name wrong. So yes, we actually need to correct facts when people are playing this game.
Last question. You want me to ask a substantive question? Here's what I worry about most: democracy in this country.
I would love substantive questions.
Not just under Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Last question for you. Not just under Donald Trump, but under you, people are worried about authoritarianism. You have preemptively promised to pardon Trump no matter what juries of his peers decide, as well as today extending those pardons to January 6 rioters. You've dismissed white supremacists as boogeymen and unicorns. You want to fire at least half the federal government workforce. That's over 1 million people. You want to remove the right to vote from 18 to 25-year-olds. That's over 30 million people. You want to get rid of birthright citizenship. In fact, you refer to voting and citizenship as privileges when they are, in my view and in the Constitution's view, rights. It's a very anti-democratic worldview. What do you say to people who criticize you for that?
So apart from getting the childish details, the host really doesn't have a whole lot of information, doesn't have the right background to challenge this super smart guy coming up with, I won't say lame and dumb assertions, but something really stupid and nothing related to anything what we are looking forward to here, right? This is a presidential race. You don't question someone's scholarship when they were young, when they were 24. You don't question their scholarship. That has nothing to do with the presidency. His biotech background has been nothing but spectacular. It's been on the front page of most of the news, channels and magazines and all over the place, right? And one of the arguments is that the whole Alzheimer's, cure that he proposed didn't succeed. As he clarified, most of it anyways fails. At least this guy has made the attempt, gotten the results, right? Good results to some extent. If that didn't succeed, he has worked on several other things, 5 other big things that have made an impact. So you don't question someone's success and try to show that as a negative. It has to be looked at constructively, positively. And unfortunately, a lot of people are just trying to deliberately make him look smaller and weaker, or trying to shut him down. The more they try to do it, the more he's bouncing back. So if your intention is to hurt this guy's chances, speak less, because if you ask more and you question more, it's really hurting your side, making him look that much better and making him really win this race. And leaps and bounds, he has jumped up the rankings simply because of the dumb people on the other side that have made him look so good.
I don't think it's an anti-democratic worldview. I favor reviving the lifeblood of our constitutional republic. Revive actual free speech and open debate in this country. Revive civic duty in this country, something that our founding fathers envisioned. Revive true equality in front of the law, where people aren't prosecuted because of the color of their skin or because of the content of their political views. One standard of the rule of law for everybody. I stand for the founding vision of the country, where the people who we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government, when in fact most policymaking functions in D.C. are performed by federal bureaucrats. So yes, my standard is, would Alexander Hamilton and John James and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, would they be proud of what they see today, or would they be appalled? I think if they walked around and saw Washington, D.C. today, they would be appalled. By the time I leave office in January 2033 after 2 terms, they will once again be proud of what we've created, a government with 3 co-equal branches, not 4, shutting down that administrative state, reviving civic duty, and reviving one standard of the rule of law for all Americans. And that is not a Democratic vision or a Republican vision. That is a pro-American vision that I think can actually reunite this country, which is what I believe I will uniquely be able to deliver as the next president.
Vivek Ramaswamy, we will have to leave it there. Appreciate you coming on the show, taking my questions, even if you didn't like all of them. Appreciate you taking time out from a busy campaign.
Thank you. Look forward to discussing more of the agenda in the future.
Next time, definitely.